This week in gaming, Game Informer closes its doors. Star Wars Outlaws roadmap is revealed, and Bungie still got more shakeups going on. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your illustrious hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by, in the heart of a peaceful village, an unassuming man lived a quiet life as a bookkeeper. Little did anyone know he was the last of an ancient line of wizards, sworn to keep his powers hidden until the time of prophecy. Now, as the dark shadows of the tyrannical wizard emperor spreads across the kingdom, Eldrin must finally reveal his true nature, rise as the savior, and challenge the dark sorcery threatening to consume his land. This wizard's name is Eldrin Arvius.
I don't know if it's Irevius or Irvis. So,
it's however Zach pronounces it.
Well, yeah, which is 99% wrong most of the time. But
Amori Rachu, you know what I mean?
And another thing about the exposition is great because Derek doesn't read books. At least not anymore. Not since he left Troy. And my sister would read this and be like, he don't read no books. He can't keep nothing.
Well, I think it's more of an accountant, Derek. I think this is more of an accountant. So some would say his normal name would probably be John Stevenson. Just saying. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying.
Why do I even bother? So, where does this rank? Because, I would say it's middle of the pack. The exposition, top tier.
Okay.
The name, middle of the pack, just because, I don't know. It just, that one doesn't hit with me as well. Just because, it for the exposition, it was great. But for me, which is what matters, is different. I think I'm going to put that. I have to put it because I'm looking at 7 and 8. We got Sir Elian of Reddingham and then Choco Narax, the Mighty Candy Dragon. I have to say it's at least better than the Mighty Candy Dragon. So I'm going to put that at number 8.
Okay. There we go, guys. New number 8. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but welcome. I choose you to you. I don't pronounce things right. Welcome to the stream. We are live on Facebook and Twitch tonight, as well as YouTube. We normally just do YouTube, and glad that you found us over there on the YouTube. Hope you're doing well.
If I take a random shot, I would say Achias.
That sounds great, Derek. That sounds great. I'm going with whatever John Stevenson, my co-host John Stevenson, is saying. Yeah, if you don't know, if you're new here, if this is your first time, each and every week we give Derek a name. We come up with some story and we give him a name. It's akin to what Sean and Gus on Psych would do. Now, Sean would never give a backstory, but that's why.
Right.
Yeah. Achaicus.
Okay. Achaicus.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, Achaicus. Let's see if that sticks in my mind. Guys, this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store, where you can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout, and our wonderful patrons, but more about that later. We're going to get into the first segment of the show, which is always, Derek, what you been playing?
Well, I am sad to report that this is the first week in a long time I have not played anything. Have I tried to make attempts? Yes. Did NCAA call my name? Yes. Did I not play it because I said I'm going to give it a break? Yes. So I have not played anything. Shame on me. I know. So nothing to report on that front.
For shame, Derek. Now, my question is in its place. Did you watch a lot of anime?
Kind of. If you want to say I binged a 50 episode season of One Piece in less than a week, yes. And I started Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, so, maybe I watched some anime. I don't know.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I started Blue Exorcist. I'm almost I'm halfway through season 1. Show is actually better than I remember when I watched it like 5 years ago. So guy who voices Inosuke is the main character.
Okay. So, dope.
And then we have Johnny Young Bosch voicing his brother in the show. So
okay. Well, if you like anime, you should go check out our other show, Eat Sleep Anime. I had to let at least Derek talk about something that he's been doing other than work. So for me, I played a little bit of college football on Friday. I played another 1 or 2 more games of Road to Glory. I had a test for one of my classes.
Oh yeah,
crushed it. And I've already
did you show up on time, or did you have someone else sign the attendance sheet for you?
You know, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We were there. So out me like that, Derek. I've played like 4 or 5 games, and I've already passed 1,000 passing yards.
Oh wow.
Yeah. My dude is like just
well, he is all might. You have to go.
He
plus
is
ultra.
all might. Yeah. We go in plus ultra over here. So I played that, and then Derek, I talked about this on Bode Knows Gaming.
Okay.
I downloaded a mobile app, a mobile game.
Okay.
Do
you have to take a shower?
Yeah, I deleted it off my phone. Like I played it for several days, but it was one of those, you're going down the street and then there's like math, and like you can add you've definitely seen these on like Instagram or TikTok.
Oh,
yeah, and like you add
like multiply or divide.
Yeah, and there's like zombies or troops or whatever. So I was playing, it's called Last Wars or Last War, and it's like a base builder, and then you have that part of the game, and it was somewhat fun, but it was sucking up way too much time.
Yeah,
I was like, this is not good. And I literally did a whole car thoughts on this and like mobile games, and I haven't played a mobile game since Marvel Snap,
right?
But this game, like, they know how to trigger part of your brain to just keep you playing, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how all of that works. But I played a little bit of that, and then that's really been about it. I haven't jumped into anything. I'm hoping to play a little bit this weekend. Hopefully my hands are up to the task and everything, but I'm excited to play a little bit more college football. I think I'm going to, like, we're getting close. We're not at the end of the month, but we're prepping for the end of the month, which is Star Wars Outlaws, which we got some news about that tonight. So I'm excited because I'm ready to get into a story game.
Yes.
I'm ready to get in a story game. Murdoch's like, wait a tick. What? Murdoch? What, Murdoch?
It's like, back that up.
You on both so we're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube tonight. Just trying it out, seeing how it goes. If we get enough viewership, it might be something that we try more of. But We're just trying it out tonight and seeing what is what. You know what I mean? I don't want to push a lot of people away from YouTube because that is the main platform.
Right.
But if we can reach people on other places, then hey, you know, I'm not gonna be mad about that at all. Amy said, yeah, I think 50 episodes would count as watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying, you know, like, and the sad part is now I'm starting to get into like the chunk seasons. Like this next season, I'm going to watch a One Piece whenever I get to that is like over 100 episodes. 2 seasons after that's over 100. And then like the literally Wano is almost 200 episodes just for one season. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, but that's way down the road. I'm taking breaks in between seasons just because they're so flipping long.
Yeah, I agree, man. That like those are so long. I'm anime wise, I'm almost done with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I feel like we need to just sit down and record our my breakdown of that and everything. So but one game that I've got to try out on my phone, I saw, and I'm not sure how it is, but there's a solo leveling game.
I did see that.
So I want to try that out. I'm gonna get the backbone out, see how it goes, and go from there and everything. But yeah,
supposedly it's actually decent.
Yeah, and season 2 trailer of solo leveling is out.
For the game or the show?
No, for the show.
Interesting. I didn't see that today.
Yeah. Martin Sager, what's up, my man? 50 episodes in a week, just casually watching. I know. I'm just saying.
Well, you know, I binge most of it on my off days.
Yeah. Derek's literally like he's Hercule Durkling, and he's just being a goblin, an anime goblin.
Yeah.
Joe says we have 2 more episodes of Delicious in Dungeon. I'm so glad that y'all are liking Delicious in Dungeon. It is great. We've got a Fable, which is essentially like an anime club where we can discuss different episodes and everything. It's like a forum, but it's an app and all that good stuff. If you're interested, let me know and I'll send it to you. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I love Delicious in Dungeon. Derek, how's Delicious in Dungeon going for you?
Haven't watched it yet, sir.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Martin says, "What's up this summer? I have unfortunately fallen into the gotcha game trap that is Genshin Impact."
Don't feel bad. A lot of people have fallen into that trap.
Yeah, I like. There have been people that have tried to get me to play it, but it's one of those games that's like, I know, like I have an addictive personality. And it's like when I enjoy a game, I get into it. Thankfully, I don't like even with this other game, like I did not buy anything. Like it was like trying to force me. It's like, hey, you want to speed it up? Buy it. And I'm like, no,
Premium.
I'm good.
It's always fun.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm curious. Let me know what you think about Genshin Impact, Martin. I've heard good things, but I don't know.
Mechanic is the only downside.
Yeah. So if you're watching over on Twitch, make sure if you've got a Prime sub, help us out a little bit. Show us some love. If you're over on Facebook and YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow. We are trying this out tonight on all 3. But let's get into the gaming news for the week. First up, a little bit of sad news, which I feel like we constantly talk about shutdowns and layoffs and all of that one.
That's why I put Star Wars in the middle of the sad sandwich. You know what I mean?
a little bit of hopium in the middle of there. This one hits because I want to hear your thoughts and your like history on this. Everybody in the chat. Game Informer to shut down. Well, it's already shut down after 33 years of publication.
So GameStop announces the immediate shutdown of Game Informer, laying off the entire staff without prior warning. public announcement, and GameStop, not Game Informer staff, shared the news on Twitter, thanking readers for their support over the years. Staff reaction. Game Informer staff were informed during an August 2nd meeting with many shocked and unaware of the impending closure. Incomplete issue. The team was 70% through the next issue, which featured a highly anticipated cover story. Lastly, historic legacy. Founded in 1991, Game Informer became the longest running video game magazine and was the third largest magazine in the U.S. in 2011. Man, this hits so hard because, I remember I didn't even know Game Informer was a thing until I walked into a GameStop one day, saw the magazine. I'm like, this looks cool. And he's like, well, you can get the magazine every month if you go get our pro membership. And I said, why not? And then I read it and I was really intrigued. It was done. The writing was done really well. Like I like the little especially for the cover story. I like the little sidebars, the excerpts. It's like, hey, here's this. And then like, of course, it has like the little fun section. And I always love every year around the April issue, they have the Game in Farcer one, which is like, oh, here's a bunch of fake stuff and like, tongue-in-cheek things, like meta jokes essentially that we're going to do. It's only one issue a year, but we're going to do it just to do something different. I remember enjoying those and just reading some of them. And it's just like, I know this is not true, but some of this I could see people actually falling for. And then, just reading the reviews. Now the reviews were always the I don't want to say the weakest, but you always want to take it with a grain of salt, like the score. Like I like reading the reviews, like the review, like you see the score and you read the excerpt, and sometimes it doesn't coincide, both good and bad. Sometimes they'll give it a lower score, but the review seems glowing about it. It's like, well, why didn't you rate it higher? And then vice versa, where they gave it a higher score, but then the review like highlights more of the negatives, and it's like, well, it seems like you're kind of down on it, man. Like I don't know what you're doing here. So I always cared about what the excerpt said rather than the review score, because again, say what you want to, whether GameStop was paying them. I know a lot of the writers came out and said, yeah, we can't be bought. We're giving our honest opinion about it. Yeah. Again, debatable, because there are some, when you read Game Informer score and then when you go to other website scores and it's like way off the track, it's like, are you sure about that? But I think part of them did want to give at least a middling score just to keep pre-orders stagnant with GameStop, I guess you can say, because they were the ones keeping them alive essentially. But it sucks that the hand that was feeding you is the one that shuts you down. And I did stop reading Game Informer over the last year just because I had no time. And it was just something that, especially since I came to grocery, changed apartments, it's like I don't have time to read. Like I literally come home, eat. Sometimes I pass out on the couch or watch anime, and then it's just like I don't have time to sit here and read, unfortunately. But I do know, they were on a skeleton staff already before this. Like GameStop had already pretty much hollowed out the staff at Game Informer, and now they just pretty much gave it the axe. But it sucks because again, it's a last minute thing. Like it literally happened this past Friday, and they were like caught off guard, as it said, and it was just like, hey, thanks for your service, but now you got to go.
Yeah, and the post that they put out wasn't even written by Game Informer staff. It was written by, it sounds very AI. And then they wiped the whole website.
Yeah.
And
I know they're trying to get something going where they have an archive of it.
Yeah, Min-Max. I think that's what it's called.
It's Min-Max.
Yeah, they're trying to do an archival project and everything. Y'all could go look that up if you want to help out with that. But I remember this was high school, okay? Because I remember seeing, PlayStation Magazine. Martin said, "Sad day. It's been so long since I picked up an issue. This is worse than when they canceled PlayStation Magazine." Yeah. And I remember, PlayStation Magazine. There was one that I constantly got. I can't remember the name of it, but I always had cheat codes in the back. Back in the day, maybe EGM. But getting those was always a great thing. They had demo disc in them at times as well.
Oh yeah.
But I remember going into GameStop when I was in high school after performing for MPA,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to, to celebrate our scores and all of that to
Mm-hmm.
the mall. And I saw this magazine, and all I wanted was the magazine. I did
Yeah.
not want a subscription. I did not want the Game Pass thing. And I was like telling the dude, I was like, I just want the magazine. It's like, I don't want anything else. I just want the magazine.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you have to buy this thing. And it was like, it's only like back then it was $9.99 a month or
Yeah.
$9.99 for a year. So
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, whatever. And I bought it. And then I just remember like looking through, perusing through. I wasn't like super into reading the articles or whatever, but it was like always like getting the magazine, seeing what was like coming up and everything,
Yeah.
and kind of comparing that to like G4 and what we would, get shown on that.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was just a part of it. And then I remember when I got my first iPad, I went to digital and started getting my Game Informers digital and everything. And it
Interactive
was,
videos.
yeah, interactive videos, and just like it was such a different kind of like feel to it. And like I know I have a stack of Game Informer magazines, like with all my stuff, not here
Mm-hmm.
at this location, but I know I've got a bunch of them because I never threw them away.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's like it's a sad day because it was the last gaming magazine in the US, like
Yeah.
big gaming magazine in the US. I know over in the UK, it's a lot like gaming magazines are a lot bigger
Oh
over
yeah.
there, but here it was the last one of like, big consequence. And
Right.
I definitely feel like this was a saving throw for GameStop trying to cut whatever cost, because I remember it was like a month or so ago that they said, "Oh, we're coming out with like physical copies again."
Yeah.
And you can pre-order or whatever. And I know some people were excited about that. And then we get this news. And it's
Yeah.
like,
GameStop was like, no, we didn't
yeah,
approve this.
yeah. So if y'all have any Game Informer stories, y'all let us know down in the comments below. Would love to see your stories, how you interacted with Game Informer and everything. But I just remember like it being kind of the selling factor of a GameStop membership,
Yeah.
definitely back in the day, because and definitely not getting a lot off of anything
Nope.
with having the membership.
Nope.
But the issues were cool, and I just hope that they were on a skeleton crew at this point. Like, it's surprising how much they were able to do with the
True.
small crew they had.
Right. And about saying that's correct. It's like they're still pumping out magazines like full issues. Like I know they probably could they don't have as many probably features
Hmm.
or reviews in it as they would like. But still, the fact that every couple of months they would still, because I know after they went to a skeleton crew, they knocked it down, because you used to get a magazine a month, and they knocked it down. It's like, oh, you're getting 10 issues a year. So like every month and a half, 2 months, you were getting a magazine. So, but still, about to still get out 10 issues a year,
Yeah.
like on a skeleton crew, is still really impressive.
Yeah. Very
And
impressive.
especially, you talk about stories too. I remember, because back then it was just like you were watching E3, and but E3 only came once a year. But
Hmm.
and I always loved like getting the E3 cover stories the month after, and like just see reviewing, because it would be always their like top 50 games from E3, and just like reliving that moment of like seeing those trailers and just being in awe of like what we saw, and it's like, man, can't wait to play this, that kind of thing. But also it was just like getting news things, like it was almost like in E3 every month, but it was only like one singular game. Like I remember,
Yeah.
like I was huge on the Assassin's Creed series, and I was in the middle of playing two, trying to catch up to Brotherhood. Had no, this is before I, religiously went to IGN and all this kind of stuff. And I remember getting into in the mail one day. It's like Assassin's Creed Revelations, like a new Assassin's Creed game was announced, and I remember just like flipping the mess out. It was just like, holy cow,
Yeah.
a new Assassin's Creed game. And like that was my E3 moment, was just like finding that out in like not even knowing, like we're not even being big on the news. So, and that was all because of Game Informer. Like I would find out like especially if it was like a big game that was coming out, and then like Game Informer right after would be like, all right, now this is going to be our cover story. We're going to give you a deep dive. I'm like, perfect. I get to just read more like and and find out more than I did in just like 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, and that's like getting the breakdown of things. It was just such an iconic part of Game Informer. Like I remember, I think it was Arkham City. It was like Batman.
Yes.
Like it was like white and black. Like it was very just
and a little bit of blood.
Yeah, a little bit of like that cover right there.
Yeah.
Was just like, oh my God. Like it was so good.
It was
iconic.
Smooth, man.
Yeah. Joe says, I didn't really read Game Informer. I mostly just peruse them. Yeah, I feel that. Amy says, it's sad to see print media slowly go away. And I feel like this has been kind of the thing for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's slowly dying over time, which is unfortunate, but it is kind of how people like get media at this point and everything. There was one I love James Bond.
Yeah.
And the Russia from Love game, I loved it. I remember seeing the cover of Game Informer having like Sean Connery and like the Russia from Love and like so good. So good. Martin says, I was the same, just stacking them up after a few years. I had to throw them all out the last time I moved, though. It was tough. Yeah, that hits. That hits.
Yeah.
Martin says, oh yeah, the Halo 3 cover for Game Informer was ridiculous. The hype was real. I'm curious if I can find that one. Let's see. Game Informer cover Halo 3. Let's just see. Let's see if I. Oh yeah. I don't know. Is this? We'll see. I don't know if this is the one that you're talking about, Martin, but this is the one I found. And then you've got like ODST, which was ODST was so good, man. It was so good. Oh, man. Well, that's Halo 5, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Game Informer's covers were just stellar. This would be Mass Effect 3, which I was so stoked for back in the day. So yeah, like Game Informer's covers were always like, I feel like some of the best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's crazy that the last issue was literally at like 70 something percent done.
I'd like to have known what it was.
Yeah, I know. Same. And I'm wondering if we'll get something down the line, like saying, hey, this would have been the last issue or whatever from the writers. But I hope that everyone that was left at Game Informer, that they find somewhere to go in the industry. Like it's getting tough out there for game developers, game journalists. Like it's tough right now, but hopefully they'll find somewhere where they can continue bringing awesome news to people. And it's hard because I feel like the largest place is IGN and they only have so many positions. They use a lot of freelancers and everything. And then you've got like the UK, which IGN parent company, Ziff Davis, just bought a lot of the games media over there.
Correct.
And then you've got like GameSpot, which went through a whole like run of like downsizing stuff, over the last few years, if I'm correct. And then so it's like, and then Rooster Teeth is gone, and it's like everybody can't go to Kind of Funny or IGN because Kind of Funny is small, so it's like it's one of those things. It's like I don't know. hopefully
Well, it's
they'll
going to have
find
to be
something.
like what a lot of these game developers that have been let go or leave just start their own studios. They may have to start their own media channel.
Yeah. Yeah. And, if you are like, not everybody's going to be on the same level as like a Jason Schreier or anything like
Oh
that
yeah,
would be able to do that. But hopefully, enough of them will get together and be able to make something happen. So our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected with the closure of Game Informer. Keep putting your Game Informer stories down in the chat. We hope that you're enjoying the stream. Make sure to like and share the episode if you're over on Twitch. If you've got a Twitch Prime membership you want to share with us, we appreciate that. And a shout out to, I can't remember how to say it,
Achaicus.
Achaicus, for following us over there on Twitch. Derek, let's get into some Star Wars news. Star Wars Outlaws Season Pass roadmap has been revealed along with 2 story packs.
So the season pass structure, it will be content divided into 3 episodes, into 3 release windows. Day 1, fall 2024 and spring 2025. Day 1 content, character pack, and exclusive Jabba's Gambit mission, which was initially controversial for being season pass exclusive. Fall 2024 DLC, the Wildcard story pack, where protagonist K infiltrates a high-stakes sabacc
Sabacc.
sabacc tournament and encounters Lando Calrissian. That's cool. And then in spring 2025, a Pirate's Fortune story pack featuring K's adventures with pirate Hondo Onaka. Oh, that's so cool. Settling scores with a ruthless gang. Man, it's fun to see Rebels get some love again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Hondo, which was also in Clone Wars.
Right.
And I'm glad that they're bringing Lando in because he is a huge Sabacc player and everything.
Right.
I'm curious who's going to be voicing him. If they're going to
True.
bring Billy in for this, because Billy has done.
Well,
this is Pipe Dream.
Yeah.
Billy has done Rebels back in the day and everything. So
it's true. And I mean, at first blush, I'm just like, nah, they won't do it. But at the same time, it's Ubisoft. They love their celebrities.
They do love their celebrities. And I feel like they need some goodwill towards the, season pass. And if Billy D. Williams was in the season pass, I think that would make a lot more people willing to buy it to get wild card. And, hopefully, they'll have Jim Cummings play Hondo. He voiced him in the show and everything. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't have him, because his
feel like
voice
that would be an easier get.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, this is just me hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cautiously optimistic for this game. I know they showed like a trailer a few weeks ago or whatever, and it didn't look great of Outlaws, but I know a lot of people that have went and played it are excited for it. I don't know. Only time will tell. Derek, are you stoked for this?
I was just going to ask you, like, what if this does anything for you, like seeing Lando and then like getting 2 names that we know in this DLC. Like, I want to know how like involved they will be, like if they come to you with this mission, or if it's just something like you stumble upon and they're just like cameo characters that show up during it.
I hope that it's not just like they're the mission givers. Like, I want them to be more involved with it, which I know is a lot more to do and everything, but like having them part of the actual gameplay, them, going through and doing all this instead of, Lando playing Sabacc and then he's like, all right, you owe me this much money. You need to go do this job for me. And then you don't see him until you get done.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be kind of, but Hondo, I definitely could see that because is more of like, he's a trickster. So I'm hoping that they bring that kind of storytelling into that would be really, really good. Like having that trickster nature where he's twisting and turning things, and he's Hondo Onaka, and
he's like, you set us up. I didn't say there wouldn't be bandits.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's what I'm looking for. So if it's if it's base level, I kind of feel like that's kind of
Ubisoft's par for the course.
Yeah, but I hope that they go a little bit more with this because they're wanting Outlaws to be something that has some legs to it. They need this to be successful because if Outlaws is not successful, then all that they have to count on is Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it's like they need 2 bangers this year to really get people out and enjoying their games and talking positively about Ubisoft.
Correct. And not just, well, and they don't want to be defined as like, I know Activision is pretty much the Call of Duty studio at this point, right? They don't want to be just defined as Assassin's Creed because we've seen the ebb and flow with the fan base with Assassin's Creed. Like they'll enjoy it to a certain point, then it's like, all right, we need a break, and then they'll come back strong, and then they'll need a break right away. So, and then they'll change genres, and then change this one, and like they don't want to do that because that's not fair to the developers. That's not fair to gamers to have to constantly just be tuned in or tuned out to Assassin's Creed, especially with what is it? Not the Nexus because that's the VR one, but just like Unity, or not Unity, but whatever it is that's like going to just be like a recurring, like we're just going to update the worlds. Infinity, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need this to hit, especially they need this to be, especially in a world where Respawn is killing it with their Star Wars games. And like other studios are starting to pick up the slack and actually make decent Star Wars games. So they don't want to be the odd man out where it's like, hey, we've had all this promise of, like big Outlaw. Like I know Amy Hennig's game got canceled. That had very much promise with the scruffy nerf herder storytelling, like the Outlaw storytelling. And we can tell you this one, and then it's garbage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we could potentially see something great, but only time will tell, Derek.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. And for me, I definitely want it to be awesome because I love me some Star Wars.
Well, and it's also too, right? Like thinking about it, it's going to be a different game in terms of like, this is not going to have Jedi powers. You have a companion like Cal Kestis and BD1, but you don't have any special powers. It's literally just you sneaking around, pickpocketing, and blaster fire. Like it is that is pretty much it. So if you want to stand out as a different type of Star Wars game, you need to hit.
Yeah, and I don't want it to just be Assassin's Creed with Star Wars paint.
Right.
And I feel like that could be how this is, but I'm hoping not. So I'm optimistically excited for this, and I want to see more of it. Joe says Outlaws playthrough Tuesday nights ?
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell, guys. If y'all are excited enough and you put enough vibes in the chat right now, we might do some Outlaws on Tuesday nights. Y'all gonna be excited enough, though.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's gotta be exciting enough. What's up, Dan? Hope you're doing well tonight. Guys, make sure to go over to your podcast service of choice and subscribe to the NerdCave News and leave a 5-star review. That's how the algorithm on the podcast channels work. The better the ratings, the more they're going to push those. And there is a secret little episode that I put out this week talking about Sony Santa Monica's new IP. So y'all should go check that out. And if you're like, Zach, I don't listen to podcasts, make sure to subscribe to wherever you're watching this right now, and also our YouTube channel. That's the place where the most up to date is going to be. So go and enjoy it. Give us all the love, like it, share it, all those good things, because guys, we're small. 2-man company. 2-man. 1.5 really on a good day.
Wow.
1.5 on a good day. So go support us, guys. It helps us out a ton. And if you're into anime, we also have Eat Sleep Anime, and we have Car Thoughts that we do each and every week as well. Eat Sleep Anime, we got a lot of good stuff going on, and we'll talk more about that later. 2 men, 1 dream. Exactly. Dan, now I got to get Outlaws to avoid spoilers. True.
Yeah.
Fives, Joe.
So anyway, when the Klingons come in and nuke, yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Minas Tirith. One band,
Yeah.
one sound. One band,
There you go.
one sound. Guys, let's get into the PlayStation news for this week. Yeah, hold on to your butts. Hold on to your butts.
You thought we were done talking about it.
We got some Bungie updates. First up, Bungie's mass layoffs were reportedly planned months ago, regardless of the final shape's success or lack thereof.
So the Bungie CEO, Pete Parsons, announces layoffs of 220 employees while he was criticized for spending $2.4 million on retro cars amid budget issues. Layoffs occurred despite the success of Destiny 2's latest expansion, The Final Shape. The cuts were planned months before the expansion's release, and sources claim Bungie's leadership, not Sony, is to blame. Parsons called a joke by former employees, with some demanding his resignation. Leadership decisions led to stretched budgets and significant financial losses. Allegedly, efforts to avoid layoffs did not include cutting executive salaries. And we talked about that. I know. We alluded to that last week. It's like, if you tried everything you needed to, why didn't you take a pay cut? And the fact that this was decided months ago is just bonkers to me, because it's like why wait? Like, what were you waiting for? Like, it's like, especially if the final shape didn't matter, if these layoffs were going to happen or not, why just not cut the cord? Like, were you wanting to just have one final huzzah when the final shape released and was like, hey guys, congratulations, even though next month you're all laid off, but that doesn't matter. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of math because dude got 2.4 million just buying cars.
Right.
Put a 7 in chat if this dude is an idiot. I want to see some 7s in chat. So I'm asking ChatGPT to do some math for me. How many people could be paid $120,000 out of 2.4 million? I'm going kind of highballing here. I don't know how much a game developer gets paid and everything. So we're gonna see how much that could be. So that would be 20 people paid 120. Let's see. How much would 220 people?
Just go to like average, like 60 to 70,000.
How much would? How many? There we go. How many?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
Yeah, would 60,000 cover? Yeah, 40 people. That's still a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And again, that's just the cars. Like, this dude is not hurting for money at all. So if he's spending 2.4 million just on cars, just imagine what his house looks like, what kind of other junk that he's,
So he's trying to compete with Jay Leno with a car collection.
Yeah, apparently. Him and Jay Leno and then Jerry Seinfeld. It's just like, we're gonna buy all these cars. It's like, Pete, are you sure we are going to lose a lot of people? Give me another car.
Right. But they could save at least 40 people. Meh.
Yeah, 40 people. Let's move to the second story in this Bungie update. Former Bungie worker claims studio faced insolvency without Sony's acquisition.
So Bungie misrepresented finances and faced insolvency pre-Sony's $3.6 billion with a B acquisition. Destiny 2's The Final Shape underperformed, failing to outsell Lightfall. Post-acquisition, Bungie repeatedly missed financial targets. Bungie spins out incubation project into a new PlayStation studio. Internal anticipation of layoffs since December of 2023 due to performance concerns. Leadership led by Pete Parsons blamed for overextending and underdelivered promises. And lastly, Parsons cited rising development costs and economic conditions for financial issues. Again, it's starting to sound like, they're starting to use this like, the inflation and rising costs, which yes, it is a thing. Right. And yes, it is a thing, and it does happen. At the same time, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
And if you didn't accost for that, then that's on you. That's a big on you thing. But also, it's like seeing how they misrepresented finances is just like how like it sounds like Sony threw them a life preserver at this point, and it sounds like Pete Parsons is an idiot, like a major idiot, and it's like he's not managing the funds well, and he's overexerting the studio, and like I said, over promising and under delivering by saying like, oh, like, and I know once you commit to this game like a 10-year plus project, you're going to have issues making it up because you're losing the fan base, because you're only going to have your core fan base. You might have like 10 million people at launch, but then how many are you going to keep around? And then each expansion is like, how many is going to bring back, how many are going to fall off, and then the next expansion, are you going to bring anyone back that fell off before? And I get that it's a tilt-a-whirl. At the same time, if you manage your funds correctly, you won't be in this position. And so it seems like Sony just bought them to throw in some cash flow and pretty much keep them from closing, it sounds like. Which almost, if that's the case, then Sony should almost do a hostile takeover at this point, because it's like, you're draining money and you're not making money, and your expansion, your latest expansion is underperforming compared to the previous expansion. Almost seem like the problem is you, my guy, Pete Parsons. Maybe we should make you the next Bobby Kotick and just throw you out to the wolves, but with no golden parachute.
Yeah. Well, and them misrepresenting their funds, that is a whole issue, which I feel would be legal ramifications for the higher ups, which could essentially cut, the golden parachute that most CEOs and C-suites have on that. I don't think we'll see Pete Parsons as CEO of Bungie in the next 6 months, because and SIE are already kind of taking over Bungie to manage it more properly. And I think we'll see a lot more of that, because when they first came on, Bungie was supposed to stay out on its own, and that's not working. It's not having a good effect over here. And it's like, okay, we own you. And you're acting churlish. We can't have you acting like that and making us
put you over my knee.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you are not doing the right thing, and we're having to fix whatever you're doing. So I think we are going to see not necessarily a hostile takeover, because it's like, hey, this dude's a dummy. Like I'd be like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but stop buying cars. And you know what I mean? If you look at this, the decisions were made long ago that led up to all of these layoffs. It's literally internal anticipation of layoffs since December 2023. That's over half a year ago. And this is something that Bungie, I think, because of Jim Ryan, that is the whole reason they bought Bungie, was because of the live service side of things.
And I was just going there too. It was just like, it's funny that they were brought on to show how to make live service games, and they can't even manage their own live service game and like manage their own studio. It's like, you can't teach me nothing, boy.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Jim Ryan was like so gung-ho about live service, and we're seeing a lot of people fall away from that and going back to more of the traditional games where it's more respective of the gamers' time, and then it is more beneficial for the developers as well. Yes, you might not make as much money in the long run, but look at Suicide Squad, live service game, a really stellar and strong IP, but the delivery of that game, utter trash. Who wants to shoot pulsating purple blobs for 400 hours?
Or even, let me do you one better. Let's play as King Shark, who's supposed to be like pretty much like a melee menace, and it's like, let's put a turret in his hand. I'm like, why? How does this make sense?
Yeah. So all of that to say, I think Jim Ryan he put Sony out there to take care of Bungie. Bungie misrepresented themselves, because why would Activision, I want to throw this to you, Derek, why would Activision let Bungie go if they were profitable?
Oh, very good. Well, let's see. seems like they were eating the cash flow and they were not using their money wisely. And Activision saw writing on the wall, and it's like, well, but and when you have a greedy pig in Bobby Kotick who wants to just make money, and he sees that he's losing money on keeping the studio around, he's like, I'm gonna cut ties and let you go. Sorry, like now that you could say what you want to about Bobby Kotick, but at least he made a good business decision in that. And like and that's any studio you go to, that's worth their salt. If you see something is hemorrhaging money, need to let it go.
Yeah, and you look at it and it's like, okay, Activision doesn't let anything go if it's making
No,
money.
correct. They have a
And
vice grip on that thing.
yeah, and because I remember it's like when Bungie left Activision
It was
with
huge.
Destiny in
Yeah.
tow, it was like, oh, that's awesome. Bungie's great. All of
Mhm.
this. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we don't know
Oh yeah.
behind the scenes because Activision kept saying, hey, you need to monetize this game better. You need to get
Yeah.
more money coming in. And we're like, Activision's just greedy, all this. And it's like,
Maybe they were
Activision,
right for once. A broken clock can be right twice a day,
yeah.
like
Yeah, it's
so
like,
and I know they said they faced insolvency, but I'd like to know the timeline of because they went independent for a couple years. It's like how long before they had to shutter their doors? Because you watch stuff like Bar Rescue or like Kitchen Nightmares, and it's like, oh, we're like I remember one bar on a Bar Rescue was like, oh, we are literally closing in like 3 days if we don't get a cash flow right now. And it's like, man, and y'all are waiting at the buzzer to do this. Like, I want to know how long before Sony swooped in and saved Bungie were they close to being like, man, we got to close our doors. Like, we about to be a next nail in the coffin.
yeah, I think we might get to know that in 5 years,
Yeah.
once some dust settles and everything and Jason Schreier shrinks out his
does
contacts and everything. You know what I mean? But
does his sleuthing job.
yeah, it's crazy that this big of a company that has successfully made games from Halo, even before that Marathon, the original Marathon,
Yeah.
and it's like now because they're under different management, all the people that were with Bungie originally have pretty much left because of the poor management of the company. And it's like, again, goes back to why would Activision let something go
Yep.
if it's making money? They don't
Correct.
do that. They
Nope.
wouldn't let Toys for Bob go. They wouldn't let
Nope.
Vicarious Visions go, but we'll let you go, Bungie, and you can take your IP.
They won't let him go, but it's like you're not developing games either.
Yeah, you're gonna work on Call of Duty, our money wagon. Guys, we're not done with Bungie because we got a little bit more. Bungie reportedly canceled Project Payback, a spin-off third-person adventure within the Destiny universe.
So, of course, the project, it's supposed to be a Destiny spinoff that was canceled. It was going to be a third-person adventure game inspired by Genshin Impact and Warframe, and meant to expand the Destiny franchise. So it's cool that they were thinking about because when Destiny first came out, they were talking about, oh, it's a 10-year plan, and then Destiny 2 came out, and it kind of spiked player base for a little bit, and then again the expansions ebb and flowed the player base. So in terms of like if this was meant to expand the lore, that was cool. At the same time, like when you see inspired by Genshin Impact and Warframe, it's like now those are two very successful games. Don't get me wrong. Warframe haven't seen like it's I think it's stagnated, but it's still widely popular. Like it's still got a huge fan base, and Genshin is pretty much huge. All the time. As iterated by Martin Sager, he got bit by the bug this summer, and it's got him. So it's two very popular games, but at the same time, you read this and it's like another live service, and like then you see it's like, oh, it's going to be freemium and this, that, and the other, and it's like, kind of gives me the ick. But at least you're getting inspired by good games.
Yeah, and with Project Payback and everything, like expanding the Destiny franchise, it's fine. It clearly was going to be a smaller project instead of a Destiny 3, which we're about to talk about. And I know Genshin Impact makes a ton of money. and it constantly wins awards. Like it's won several awards at the Game Awards and everything and other places. So there is a lot to it. And if they could make that off of Destiny, which I think the lore is rich enough, the worlds are diverse, there's enough to go off there. But again, you know, a third person going, because Destiny is first person shooter, so I'm wondering how that gameplay would work.
Yeah, I mean, in like some of the supers and like some, like if you pick up some of the weapons in certain missions, it goes third person for like a hot minute, but like you said, it's predominantly first person. So I mean, if it was a different IP, we wouldn't care, but because it's going to be set in the Destiny universe, it's like, okay, like why would you change viewpoints? Like, are you going to do that? Are you going to add in a third person mode for Destiny before you launch this game, like, or before you would have launched this game? Like, I don't get it.
Well, and like, just think about this. They're working on Payback. They've been working on the final shape. They've been working on Marathon, and they've also been working on another project which has been brought into SIE with the people that we're working on. That's 4 projects.
They're stretching themselves too thin.
Yeah, and it's like no wonder everybody is all over the place.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just, Pete Parsons needs to get his head examined. Dan says Destiny lore is too thick to break the surface. I agree, because Destiny has interesting lore, but they've hid it within menu systems, and you get a little bit as you play through the game, but the actual interesting stuff is all in like the grimoire. Like no one has time to read that. Tell it to me in the flipping game.
Right.
I don't know. That was something that always irked me about Destiny.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, remember when they tried to do cutscenes and a lot of them didn't make sense, and you're just standing there, just like bump on a log, like, cool.
The moon cutscene in the first game where you had that like random guardian show up and like take out, it was like, what is this? Never explained it.
Nope.
Never explained it.
Nope.
Martin says a full third-person Destiny spinoff does feel like a bad idea. Bungie has done the Halo RTS games. I think something like that would work better for Destiny, or maybe something like the top-down Darksiders game.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I loved Halo Wars. Halo Wars, fantastic. I could eat on some Halo Wars. Yes.
I was just gonna say, we have our third-person Destiny game out now. That if you think about it, it's called Helldivers.
True, and it's way better.
Yes.
Way better. Well, we're not getting a Destiny 3 because Bungie is reportedly not working on it. They will be focusing on smaller Destiny 2 updates that may be free. May is the key word there.
Yeah, May. Bungie isn't working on a new Destiny sequel and is instead focusing on smaller Destiny 2 updates, which could possibly be free. And the Destiny Universe spinoff Payback was scrapped to redirect efforts towards other projects like Marathon and Destiny 2. And, you know, and there's this quote here that they talk about their future plans that says, we'll be talking with you all about the future of Destiny and plans for our next multi-year journey soon. Once we plant a flag for the date, we will let you know. And it is sad because they had been putting off Destiny 3 for a while because everyone was kind of getting tired of Destiny 2 and that ecosystem. And they were like, well, we got to kind of push it back just a little bit more, guys. Like we'll just give you the final shape, and that's going to be literally the final expansion for Destiny 2. And it's like we just going to keep working on Destiny 2. And I don't know. I don't know if this is the right move. Like canceling one of your 4 projects you had was a smart, and with Payback was good. But because you have such a stout, loyal fan base in the Destiny universe, I don't agree with the fact that you're canceling 3. I would say put it on the back burner and be like, you know, we're going through some changes right now. We want to make Destiny 3 the best game, the best sequel for you, for you guys that appreciate what we've done with this game over the last decade. So we need to focus and readjust and re-strategize what we need to do, and we'll get back with you as soon as we're ready to tell you something. But instead, they're just like, nah, we ain't giving it to you. And it's like, okay, why was it? Again, the more that comes out, the more that you just scratch your head and it's like, this is what you went with. This was the decision. This is what was important at the time before you let over 200 people go. Like, it's so head scratching. And go back to the point, it's like Pete Parsons, like if he's CEO of Bungie by the end of the year, like going into 2025, I'll be shocked. Like,
Yeah.
or at least, all right. Caveat is if we don't hear news of him being out as CEO by the going into 2025, because it could be November and be like, all right, end of the fiscal year, March 31st, 2025, he's out. You know what I mean? Like, we hear it that he's going to be out, even if it's like a quarter into 2025, that's fine. But if January 1st, 2025 comes around and he is still there and there's no word that they're going to move on from him, I'll be shocked. And I don't know. I almost want to think, because we did mention that Sony is kind of taking the reins of this. Do you think that if they can't right the ship and basically get him to jump on board, they're going to force him out?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's going to happen.
Well, hold on, let me rephrase that. Sorry. Do you think Bungie, the execs, the higher ups at Bungie, or the higher ups at PlayStation will be the ones to force him out?
I think the higher ups at Bungie will be like, "Hey, we either get to make this decision ourselves, or Sony is going to make this. So let's keep what kind of scraps of power that we can over the company, and they're going to make the decision. The shareholders or whatever is going to make that decision, because when you come down to it, when you have a CEO that is essentially, murdering your company, you've got to get that person out of there, and you've got to make some serious changes within the structure of the company. And that's why I feel like Sony is going to be stepping in hardcore. Herman Hulst knows what he's doing. He's worked on several games himself, was over at Guerrilla. Like, he knows how to run a studio. Correct. And that is his whole purpose as it's not CEO, it's like co-president of Sony Interactive Entertainment. And that's where it's going to come down to, because Destiny can make money, but what is Marathon going to do? People don't know anything about Marathon, and they're trying to push another live service game out there. And it's like, do people want another battle
Destiny
royale?
Clone.
It's like, no, people are done with
we already see how uninspired Concord looks.
Yeah, it's like, we've got to come up with some new thing that is going to get people into it. And like, I know people want Destiny. They've wanted Destiny to have this 10-year, roadmap and everything. Destiny 1 came out and was out a couple of years, and then went to Destiny 2. It was a pretty quick one to the next.
I think it was like 3 years, and then Destiny 2 dropped.
Yeah, but I want to juxtapose this. Look at GTA Online.
Right. Going strong, still making money, still at the top of was top of the MPD charts for a long time.
Yeah. And the only thing that's going to stop GTA 5's GTA Online is the next one.
GTA 6. And that leads me to my next question is, with them doing smaller free updates and now canceling Destiny 3, do you think Destiny 2 is going to be gone, or going to be sunsetting within the next like 5 years or so? If even that, because I guess Marathon, like with them canceling Destiny 3 and like them not having a fresh new ecosystem to have players jump into, do you think Destiny 2 is going to pretty much set sails to this whole world? Like, and I know that's been their moneymaker for the last 10 years, or lack thereof moneymaker, but it's been their known thing for the last 10 years. Do you think, because now that they're going to lose all goodwill with the player base, even despite these possibly free updates that they're going to do for 2, now that 3 is canned, do you think that Destiny still has a leg in the gaming universe?
I do, because there are loyal fans, even like we're on the side of things where we see layoffs and all of this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but you're Joe Schmo that, like he works a 9 to 5, like he's in, he's not paying attention to IGN or anything like that. He just goes home, he eats some dinner, and then he jumps on Destiny and plays a few missions.
Yeah.
That's the person that they've got.
True.
It's like not the people that are just constantly like looking at news and all that kind of stuff. They've got just normal people, and that's the demographic. And this is okay. If you want to save Destiny, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You have a few of these free, they have to be free updates that are need some story, some new missions, whatever, and then you need some new PvP stuff to go in there as well.
Yeah.
And then you introduce a whole new DLC. I'm talking about it's massive, and it is essentially what Destiny 3 would be. It's extending the life of Destiny 2 by 5 to 8 years. So people that have bought the game can still keep playing it and keep going with this. And this could be a whole new, we've got some sort of new enemy. We've got a new location to like our base or whatever. Like you have to freshen some things up, and you can also introduce, this is ideas for monetization, but you can bring in some new elements for monetization purposes. With different armor and all of that, but you can come up with different things to entice people to play. And you've got to have a good story that makes sense to somebody that has not played Destiny. Because you need to have fresh players come into this game, or this will die. And that's the thing with GTA Online. And I know Brandon plays a lot of GTA Online. There's constantly new people getting into that game because they see how fun it is with the RP side of it and everything. You've got to have something like, yes, you're not going to have role playing with Destiny or whatever, but you got to have something to get people that have never played this game, didn't play the first one, didn't play any of the second one.
Right.
Whatever this big thing is, it's like, it doesn't matter if you've never played it. You can start now.
Correct.
So that's how you save Destiny 2. You got to have something to grab people and get them in.
Well said. They should hire you as your marketing director, or the PR, or like the PR person. So
Derek, I will take that CEO spot, sir. Thank you very much.
That's true. You won't be spending the money on cars. I know that much.
I won't be spending the money on cars. Will I buy me a nice house over in Tokyo? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. They're like, why is he living in Tokyo? Don't worry about it. Guys, let's jump into the PlayStation quickies.
So first up, PS5 top hardware sales charts in the US for June, while overall hardware spending was down 37% compared to 2023. Following that, the PS5 has surpassed 61 million units sold. Until Dawn film adaptation will see Dr. Hill's video game actor reprise his role. Filming for the Until Dawn movie has also kicked off. Fire Sprite Studios' next game will be based on an established dark horror IP. Bungie vets Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy reportedly left the studio after Project Payback was canceled. And lastly, as Zach alluded to earlier, Sony Santa Monica is working on a brand new IP. Let's go.
Let's go. Now, Fire Sprite, for the ones that don't know, made Call of the Mountain.
Yes.
So, Derek, what do you think that they are working on, an established dark horror IP?
Well, I think the first question, is it going to be an actual console game, or is it going to be a VR game?
I think it's going to be VR because that's what they do. Dude, they've got to have something for PlayStation Virtual Reality too.
I know, but Sony's pretty much given up on it, so I guess why sink the funds into it?
Well, they've moved it over to the PC, so that's brought a whole new audience. A whole new audience. You should go get the MetaQuest 3 if you're going to get a headset. but I think that they need to make it where you can play whatever game it is on the PlayStation Virtual Reality 2 or the console.
Yeah, that's true. Like make it accessible to both.
Yeah.
Now as far as like what the Dark Horror IP established one, I wouldn't call it established or successful, but the first one that comes to mind is that would be good for VR would be Dark Pictures Anthology.
Mm.
But now dark horror, I don't know how you class. Like I just know horror. I don't know dark horror. Like I mean,
Yeah, I don't
think
know what
bloody gruesome. Like maybe Layers of Fear. Then like because that is pretty gruesome. But either that
fear.
or fear. Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. That hasn't been a thing since like 2013, if that.
Yeah.
What else? I had it and then it went away. Like Paranormal Activity. Like I don't know. Like
Fatal
there's so many.
Frame.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one because they did that with the Wii U with the touchpad. The little if they can make that work, they could do it on the VR, the PSVR too.
Yeah, the PlayStation Virtual Reality 2. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like how you always struggle to say the whole name. You know what I mean? It's like you always have to take a pause before you say it. It's like, let me not trip over my words.
What, the PlayStation Virtual Reality 2?
Yeah.
It's a pregnant pause, Derek. Because when you say the name, you got to put some respect on it.
It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing.
Now, Sony Santa Monica, I did a whole video on this. Y'all should check it out over on the YouTube channel. Sony Santa Monica working on a brand new IP. What do you want, Derek, from Sony Santa Monica? New IP, because that means it's not going to be tied to God of War. That means it's not going to be tied to Twisted Metal or anything that we've seen before. This is a new intellectual property. So what do you want? What do you think it's going to be?
All right. So what do I think it's going to be? It could be anything. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
What I would want it to be, like what I want out of it is like, I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's like a goblin defense building, Castle Crasher game. If you create a great story like you've done with the last two God of War games, that's all that matters because you have arguably taken over as the crown jewel from Naughty Dog. Like, yeah, Sony, I know, like you can debate it all you want to, and I'm sure it'll be that way till Last of Us Part 3 comes out. Or if they do if Naughty Dog does another Uncharted game, that's a banger. Until that comes out, they're pretty much kings of the mountain, and I don't want to say you can do no wrong, but you're pretty close to it. And again, the biggest thing is like for us too, right? We're big on very well told stories, very well written stories, emotional stories. So whatever you do, as long as you keep that I would say that's the heart of Santa Monica now. And as long as you keep that in whatever IP you do, whether it's a sequel, new IP, anything, that is all I care about. Now, as far as like genre, time period, all that's to me, it could be anything. Like I'm never good at speculating what it could be. I think the last time we talked about this, which several months ago, I think I would like to see them take a crack at that space game that they were, that they got the Battlestar Galactica writer for. Like that would be the only thing just to see, just to have something different in their repertoire. But again, anything else is irrelevant outside of a good story.
Yeah. That was literally one of the points that I made in my video was like, story is king to me. Like gameplay loops and all of that comes after a good story. Because if it's something that I do not engage with, I'm going to check out pretty quick on a game. That's why, like, even college football, there's really no story to it. So I'm just kind of like, this is fun, but it's not going to hold me for a super long time.
Right.
I'm not into that as much. For me, like you brought up the Battlestar Galactica writer. I had totally forgot about that. That's a good point. Do you think with Concord, Starfield, seeing more space-based games that is kind of getting a little overdone right now? Same thing with like feudal Japan, like samurai games are like overflooded right now.
It's just like with anything with like within the current like decade, right? Because a decade plus ago, open worlds were overdone, then first person shooters were overdone. Now live service battle royales, then live service games are overdone. So I do feel like because you forget about there's Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 2 is coming out within the next couple of years. That's another space game. The next Mass Effect is down the pipeline. That's a space game. So I do feel like we're not there yet, but I feel like we will hit that saturation point with space games. So I kind of, again, it could set itself out like how in a world of when battle royales were the hot thing and Fortnite is still standing atop of the mountain with the king and still has a strong player base and is still coming out with new things when all these other major ones have died off pretty much or fallen off. They could, if they do a space one, again, as long as the story's a banger, then it can differentiate and it can stand out there. Because again, as hyped as Starfield was, and there probably is a hardcore fan base for Starfield. Not saying that, but as hyped as it was, and then it came out to just I don't know. It's one of those things where it could be done well. Again, back to story. It could done if its story's done right, it could be done well, and as long as the gameplay loop is fun. But that's a good point that you brought up. It's like we are kind of hitting that saturation point, and I'm just like, maybe they don't do a space game. But I mean, again, what else could they do? Like maybe a post-apocalyptic futuristic, like something like in the future, kind of like, I don't want to say Borderlands because I don't know what you consider Borderlands as far as like time period wise, but like a Borderlands where it's like a wasteland game, but like with advanced tech, post-apocalyptic, like, because that genre's kind of fallen by, died off or like toned down a little bit over the years. So you could come back with that, but I don't know. Which goes back to my original point. I don't care. They could literally do a Castle Crashers game, and as long as the story is good, I don't care. That's all that matters.
Well, there you go. I'm kind of in the same boat. I know whatever they do, it will be awesome. I'm just hoping at the same time Cory Barlog is working on the next God of War, because that's all I want at this point. Guys, it's time for the Patreon Quick Hits. The Patreon Quick Hits are named and brought to you by our wonderful patrons. You can go support us over on patreon.com/nerdcave. Get your very own. It's exclusive. It's totally yours. Nerd Cave membership. It helps us continue to make awesome shows like this one, Eat Sleep Anime, Car Thoughts, and more. We're a small 1.5 person company. 1.5. It's literally 2 kids in a big trench coat.
No, one's hiding in your beard.
Yeah. Guys, become part of the ship, part of the crew over on patreon.com/nerdcave. You can also join over there for free and see some awesome stuff there as well. And when you feel financially stable and ready to support us over there, you can pick a tier that fits best for you. Now it is time for the Patreon Quick Hits.
So starting off, Apex Legends Season 22. Man, it doesn't feel like it's been around for that long. Shockwave gameplay trailer shows off akimbo pistols, new battle sense features, and more. Spectre Divide, a new free-to-play Valorant-like shooter, is the debut game from Mountaintop Studios. BioWare says Dragon Age The Veilguard's official release date will be revealed, quote, next month. Jonathan Blow says Braid Anniversary Edition has been, quote, profitable overall, following his own claims that sales have been terrible. Torn Banner will no longer be making new content for Chivalry 2 and will be on to the next Chivalry game. Civ 7's first gameplay trailer will premiere at Gamescom Opening Night Live. Xbox announces 3 days of live broadcasts for Gamescom. THQ Nordic reveals that a new Darksiders game is coming. Tarsier Studios the devs behind Little Nightmares, reveal its next game during Gamescom Opening Night Live. Avowed delayed till February 18th to, quote, give players' backlogs some breathing room. Valorant is now officially on the PS5 and Series X and S after open beta period. Elden Ring was the best-selling game of June, while Kingdom Hearts Collection jumps from almost 400 to number 3 in sales. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team is headed to Switch Online tomorrow. JB Smoove is making and potentially starring in a High on Life animated comedy. Warner Brothers is reportedly looking to sell a stake in its games division. We've been talking about this for a while now. It's like, get off the pot or do something. Wolf Eye Studios founder teases next game will be revealed soon and will make fans of Dishonored and Prey happy. Game Science confirms that Black Myth Wukong's development is complete. Glenn Schofield talks to Callisto Protocol's development woes. Crafton forced the game out early, and a mass exodus of devs and more. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming to PS4 and Xbox One on September 17th. NVIDIA's new all-in-one app now adds display settings, RTX video super resolution, and more. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop release date moves up 2 weeks to September 12th. Dead by Daylight's Castlevania chapter is coming out August 27th. Fall Guys has come to Fortnite. A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead arrives October 17th. Ready at Dawn Studios is being shut down by Meta. And lastly, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League spurs double-digit drop in gaming revenue.
WB, they were living high on the hog.
Yeah, they were.
As my grandpappy, my paw would say. But as something I was reading through an article over on IGN, and Zelnick, which is the CEO over at Warner Brothers, was talking about doing something that Marvel has done and has done well, and that is licensing the IP to other game developers to make games.
Right.
And I think that would be fantastic because, dude, think about it. If we had Batman, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, dude, what if Santa Monica got Game of Thrones?
Oh, brother, that would be epic.
Be
better than the last 2 seasons of the show.
Exactly. What if Larian Studios got a hold of Harry Potter? I don't know. I'm just throwing some stuff out there. You know what I mean? Like, there's all of these studios that can do amazing. Go ahead, hit it.
I was gonna say Larian doing Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Yeah. That it would be over. It'd be over.
Man, that would be so dope. Like, y'all put down in the comments, who do you want to see work on one of Warner Brothers IPs? That's Looney Tunes, that's Game of Thrones, that's Harry Potter, any of the DC comic stuff, all of those things. Like, you let us know, what would you want to see? Because Warner Brothers doing this, I think, is the better way. Because we also saw Disney put a ton of money in the early aughts into their game division, and they had a little bit of success, and then they just didn't really make a ton of money. And then we saw them reach out and start having other developers make their games, and we've seen them make way more money. I think Warner Brothers is in this because also Suicide Kill the Justice League. I know I'm hurting our YouTube reach here by saying those words all in the same place, but SQK whatever.
Yeah.
That game was not going to do well.
No.
And I feel like Warner Brothers did not, they just assumed that it would do well.
Yeah. Especially since they put Rocksteady's name in front of it. It's like, hey, this studio that you love that did great Batman games, we're going to do this game as well. Have fun.
Well, and like, I'm still very curious if Rocksteady was the ones to actually decide to make it a live service game. I know that's what came out, but I feel like that might also be WB trying to cover their butts.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, it was actually the studio's idea. I'm like, yeah, sure it was. Who wants to make a live service game? Nobody. What's up, Nate?
Other than Fortnite.
Yeah. Bo says WB needs to license stuff out. I want them to give Meta a chance at a Harry Potter game for Quest like they're doing with Batman Arkham.
Fair.
Yeah. It's like, like, I'd be murking people left and right. I'd be like, Crucio! Yeah.
Like you weren't already in Hogwarts Legacy, let's be fair.
Yeah. I'm just saying, guys. I Dark Wizard for life. Let's go, Slytherin. I'm just
I'm a
saying. I'm
snake.
just
I'm a
saying. I'm a
snake.
snag. I'm a snag. That all being said, we'll see what Warner Brothers does, but I also feel like they don't understand the gaming side of things as well. Warner Brothers also lost money on their with the NBA and all of this. They
Yeah.
lost a ton of money, so it's not just gaming that they lost money on. What were you going to say, Derek?
I was gonna say, we're thinking about people who could take over the IPs. Dude, what power move would it be if Insomniac just took over Batman?
Dude, I'm gonna put this out here.
Yeah.
What if Sucker Punch made a Batman game?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh!
yeah.
I'll do you one better.
Ooh.
Do a Batman game, but do it the Batman Samurai. The story.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
We
That
cooking
would
over
be
here,
good.
guys.
Yeah. That I would love that. And then you could have Naughty Dog. Like again, we're just looking at PlayStation stuff. You can have Naughty Dog literally work on anything
Oh yeah.
and do some amazing storytelling over there. But I feel like they're too artsy to work on anyone's IP.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like with Xbox, who would I want to work on something? I would say the Coalition, but I want them working on Gears of War at this point.
Right. And 343 doesn't stick to anything.
What now?
I said 343 doesn't really. You don't want them trying to stick to a project.
No.
Compulsion might be actually good.
What would they be working on? What do you think?
Well, they like the fantasy. They like the different. I would almost like to see them take a crack at Harry Potter.
Yeah, I feel like, well, they're working on South of Midnight right now.
Right.
And then, because we've only seen Contrast and We Happy Few, I feel like their games are a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But I think a smaller Harry Potter tale would be cool. Like somebody that's not, in the main cast or something like that.
Right. Kind of like how they did Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, dude, have Compulsion work on a game that is about Snape.
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be great.
And have the artistic style that they like to do and everything, and have it about his relationship, him going and oh, well, I got shunned by Lily, so I'm going to join the Death Eaters and everything, and then he regrets it, and then him making a deal with Dumbledore as a double agent and all this kind of stuff. Dude, that would be so good. That would be so good.
Yeah, it would. Oh, okay. That would be good. So you talk about doing smaller, more random stuff. Going deep in the DC archives, or not deep, but just out there, have them do a Watchmen game. I
can see that.
Mainly focusing on Rorschach. Because he is out there. He's always that conspiracy theorist. They could revolve the story around him.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So who else? Oh, dude. Okay, I got this. Thinking about just because they're big on the hand-to-hand combat, especially since Stig is there.
Mm-hmm.
Do a Green Arrow game with Respawn.
Ooh,
yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, because he's got the gadgets. I don't want to just say Batman, because literally any studio that does, just thinking about doing different stuff like Green Arrow, and then get Stephen Amell to voice him.
I love Stephen Amell, but his acting is not that great. Let's just be honest.
It got better.
He got better, but dude is like a freaking cardboard cutout. That's just yeah.
Whatever.
You found this city. He is so freaking awkward. I love Stephen Amell. I love you, bro. But I don't know if it got better at the end. Like his wrestling show, I feel like he's better in.
Yeah.
But Green Arrow was.
He's apparently going to be in the Suits spinoff too.
Dude.
Suits LA.
Dude.
Yeah.
Deathstroke.
Oh!
Deathstroke. Yes, exactly, dude. Oh my god, that would be so good. Oh, we could talk forever about this, guys. I want to catch a few comments. Nate says Batman Samurai would be great. Bo says, Derek, Batman Samurai is the Batman we want, but not the Batman we deserve.
Also fair.
Oh Lord. I'm trying to think of some other like really great studios that I would love to see work on some stuff. I'm trying to wrap my brain over here.
I know. Like there's been so many layoffs and studio closures. It's just like, well, who's left outside of Sony?
Dude.
Okay.
What if I can't remember the name of the studio, but the guy that made BioShock, he's got his own studio working on Judas right now.
Ken Levine.
Kevin Levine. Is it Ken Levine or Kevin Levine?
Ken Levine.
Ken Levine. What if he did a DC inspired, or you could do Watchmen as well.
Yeah.
Like a game that's like that, going through that world, like, dude, that would be yeah. Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah. There's a ton of possibilities. Mm-hmm. I would also love to see a like we got back in the day, like Lord of the Rings. It was essentially a Battlefront version of that. I'd like to see that again. Yeah. Not necessarily like the new Battlefront. I want the old stuff, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Getting something like that. Dude, getting I don't think Blizzard would make it, but doing like a big RTS, getting like
no, not them, not Blizzard. Do the people who do Sid Meier's, or not Civ. What is like Microsoft? Huh?
Are you talking about Age of Empires or
yes. The people who do Age of Empires.
Or I'm trying to remember the name of the company, because I always like there's Rome Total War.
Crap.
I'm trying to look it up.
Relic?
No.
That's Age of Empires.
Oh, Creative Assembly.
Creative Assembly. That's too. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they would crush that, because like, we've had, Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth back then, but like give us some like Rings of Power, like some Second Age, some First Age stuff. It'd be super, super dope. Yep. Bo says they'd make Watchmen live service like that one. We all know it. It would be ruined. Yeah, well, that's why, getting it out of the hands of Warner Brothers would be awesome. So guys, gals, we hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. Let us know if you enjoyed it as well down in the comments. Make sure to smack the like button. And we definitely enjoyed it. Make sure to check out all the other cool content. We'll be back next week. We'll be covering the news for the week and everything. And I am looking forward to jumping into more of these discussions, because the summer's just heating up, guys.
Yep.
And some would say it's the fall yet. That doesn't happen until September. Get back, Satan. Get back. Also,
I had into the dog days of summer.
Yeah, I had a joke here. You said Jonathan Blow.
Yeah,
he's Joe Blow's brother.
Have a good night, Zach.
All right, guys. Okay, so now we're out of the show. How is Full Metal going? It's going great. I am almost done with it. What episode I am on?
I think I saw like, now that was like a couple hours ago, but I saw like 53.
I'm on 53. The episode is called Flame Vengeance, which kind of gives me the idea of what's going to happen in this episode. Yeah. So a lot is going to be going on for sure. But yeah, I will once I finish it, because I probably will finish it next week. I might do a review on car thoughts or something.
Yeah.
Almost done the Mad Ship. What is that? Mad Ship. Oh, dude, you're okay. So is that the third? Oh, it's two. The second. Yeah, me and Amy, we're trying to finish up. We need to read more. I've been bad about that. I've been in Peaky Blinders mode, which is a great show, by the way. We're finishing up Sword of Kaigen, and then we're jumping into the Live Ship Traders after that, because I've been missing some Robin Hobb. Talking about books, Derek, you know, those things that's got pages and words written on them.
You don't say.
Yeah, boy, talking about them there books. Got a bunch of them back there.
We only worry about football and mud wrestling.
Yeah, mud wrestling. That's wrestling, not wrestling. Wrestling. Yeah, Mustang. Exactly, Nate. So I'm excited to see what it is. Yeah, Dan is cooking through the books. He's cooking. We've been watching a lot of TV. I will say that we've been watching a lot of TV, and I know Amy's like, I need us to read this book, and I'm like, I'm finally the book. Like, we've been working through Sword of Kaigen, which we've got a Fable group. What, Derek?
I was just thinking, it's like Amy's just like, we need to finish this, and then Zach's like, more Peaky Blinders.
That's pretty much how it's been. I'm not even gonna lie.
Got you pegged, boy.
But like the book, it was like really slow, and then we finally hit a stride. Because I was like, dude, I'm not enjoying this book. And like Amy's like, I guess I'm gonna read it by myself. I was like, I'll give it one more chapter. And then it finally hit, and I'm like, okay, I'm here for this. So yeah. Dan says, talking about the Mad Ship, there's one characters you will absolutely hate in the beginning, but there are some character development. I hated Regal a lot. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you want to support the Nerd Cave and all that we do, go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Support us there so we can make more awesome content, so we can make more cool stuff. Yes, and if you want to read Sword of Kaigen with us, Amy put the link down in the comments below. And if you want to watch Delicious in Dungeon, you have until August 30th, and then we're going to start a new show. Derek,
I feel like he's only giving that deadline for me.
August 30th, everybody.
I'll watch it all on August 29th.
Yeah. All right, guys. We love y'all. You have a wonderful week. This has been Zach.
And Eldrin Erivius.
Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.